This hadith is narrated by An Abi Dharr radiallahu anhu. And the Sahabi, his name is Jundub ibn Junada. Jundub ibn Junada bin Sakan al-Ghifāri radiallahu anhu. Abu Dharr is his kunya. And this is what he's more famously known as. May Allah be pleased with him. Abu Dharr was among the early Muslims, as-Sabiqun al-Awwalun, among those who accepted Islam early on. And he was the fifth person to accept Islam. The story related to his conversion is a bit long, and it's well known, which you can find in the books of Seerah. We're not going to go over it in this class because of time. After he converted, the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him to return to his people, go to his people. So he did not see the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam again until after the battles of Badr and Uhud. So it was a long period. Remember, he accepted Islam early on, and the battles of Badr and Uhud, the second and third year after Hijrah, was a long period. As it relates to his descriptions, it's mentioned that he was tall, brown, and skinny. He was most notably known for his tallness, radiallahu anhu. And the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in a hadith collected by Imam Tirmidhi, ما أضلت الخضراء ولا أقلت الغبراء أصدق من أبي ذر. As it relates to the virtues of Abu Dharr, the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, there is no one more truthful that the sky has shaded and the earth has carried than Abu Dharr. Allahu Akbar. As for his contemporaries, his companions, the companions of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Darda, he said about him, كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يبتدئ أبا ذر إذا حضر. That the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would give him precedence over others whenever he was present. And this was because he was among the first to accept Islam. Naam, and because he was among the first to accept Islam from early on, the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave him precedence over others. And this shows us that there is precedence that should be given to some people over others. Like, for example, our elders are given precedence over the youngsters, as well as those who have been Muslim for a longer period, they're given precedence over those who are newer Muslims. Naam, as it relates to questions and attending to their needs. Naam, as the Prophet of Allah would do with Abu Dharr. This is precedence. طيب. And Abu Darda also mentioned, وَيَتَفَقَّدُهُ إِذَا غَابَ. Yani he would ask about him. He would inquire about Abu Dharr whenever he was absent. SubhanAllah. Showing his status with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu, he said about Abu Dharr, وِعَاءٌ مُلِئَ عِلْمًا ثُمَّ أُوكِيَ عَلَيْهِ. Abu Dharr is a vessel filled with knowledge, and then he was depended upon. Yani he was among those Sahaba who were considered to be among the ulama, the scholars of the deen. In fact, he was among those who would give fatwa, the people will return to and seek religious rulings from during the caliphate of Abu Bakr, as well as Umar and Uthman radiallahu anhum, until he died, until he passed away. The Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about Abu Dharr, highlighting his asceticism, Yarhamullahu Aba Dharr. May Allah have mercy on Abu Dharr. يمشي وحده ويموت وحده ويحشر وحده. That Abu Dharr walks by himself, and he will die by himself, and he'll be raised by himself. Subhanallah. Highlighting the severe asceticism of Abu Dharr, and that he was among the zuhad, among the Sahaba, and he was not attached to the dunya. And it's mentioned that when he died by himself. What supports this is Abu Dharr's statement himself, radiallahu anhu, when he said, إِنِّي لَأَقْرَبُكُمْ مَجْلِسًا مِنْ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. That certainly I will have the closest seat. I'll be the closest to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the Day of Judgment. Why? Because إِنِّي سَمِعْتُهُ يَقُولُ, because I heard him say, إِنَّ أَقْرَبَكُمْ مِنِّي مَجْلِسًا, that certainly those of you who will be closest to me on the Day of Judgment, مَنْ خَرَجَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا كَهَيَأَتِهِ بِمَا تَرَكْتُهُ عَلَيْهِ, are those who leave the dunya in the same state that which I left them upon. Those are some athar as it relates to Abu Dharr. As it relates to some statements made by Abu Dharr, And we'll try to sprinkle this in whenever we mention the biographies of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. If there's notable statements, we'll mention it, so perhaps we may memorize and benefit from their words. Abu Dharr is reported to have said, when he heard a person insulting him, he said, Ya hadha, la tughriqanna fi shatmina, wa da' lis-sulhi mawdi'an, فإنا لا نكافئ من عصى الله فينا بأكثر من أن نطيع الله فيه. He said, subhanAllah, when the person was insulting him, cursing him, he replied to him by saying, Oh, hadha, yani ya hadha, oh this person, do not drown yourself in insulting us. لا تغرقن في شتمنا. And leave room for reconciliation. وَدَعْ لِلصُّلْحِ مَوْضِعًا. Yani don't continue to insult me and cut off all means of reconciliation. There may come a time where we reconciliate. SubhanAllah. You're cursing me today, but at least leave some room. Don't burn all the bridges. SubhanAllah. Then he said, فَإِنَّا لَا نُكَافِئُ مَنْ عَصَى اللَّهَ فِينَا بِأَكْثَرَ مِنْ أَن نُطِيعَ اللَّهَ فِيهِ. Then he said, we do not repay those who disobey Allah towards us by insulting us with anything more than obeying Allah in dealing with them. Meaning, he is not going to stoop down to his level and return his insults with insults. SubhanAllah. He was not going to stoop down to his level and insult him back. Allahu Akbar. What a great example. Radiallahu anhu. Us as Muslims, it comes with the territory. Anyone upon the truth is going to be insulted by the people. Now, every Muslim, and this happened with the best of creation, Prophet Muhammad with the best character, even he was insulted. And all the prophets before him, as mentioned in the Quran, were insulted by their people. So what about us? So how do we react to those insults? Do we retaliate? Do we harm those who insult us? La. Rather, we treat them with better character. Idfa' billati hiya ahsan. You defend yourself with that which is better. Bi ahsan. SubhanAllah. That which is better. Now, and this is what Abu Dharr radiallahu anhu learned from Prophet Muhammad and implemented. Now, what a wonderful etiquette, manners from Abu Dharr radiallahu anhu. Abu Dharr, he narrated 281 ahadith, and 12 of them are considered to be agreed upon. The reason for the low number in narration compared to the other Sahaba is because there was a long period where he was not with the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. But after he met Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, after the battles of Badr and Uhud, he stuck with him until his death. Radiallahu anhu wa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He died in a city called Al-Rabada, which is to the eastern province of Medina, in the year 31 or 32, around this time, during the caliphate of Uthman ibn Affan, radiallahu anhu. And is mentioned that Ibn Mas'ud, radiallahu anhu, prayed over him after Abu Dharr passed away. And then Ibn Mas'ud went to Medina, and he died shortly thereafter. SubhanAllah. SubhanAllah. If you think about it, Abu Dharr accepted Islam after his brother Unais. So Unais accepted Islam, and then Abu Dharr, and then Ibn Mas'ud accepted Islam after him. And then when Abu Dharr died, shortly thereafter, Ibn Mas'ud died. Radiallahu anhum. Allahu Akbar. Just an interesting point.